Hey guys, Natalie here. Listen, it's not going to be a rant, but it's going to be a discussion. So I want you guys to be interactive, dropping comments, telling me names, telling me what you want to know. I'm not saying I know everything, but there's things that I know and there's things that we have to discuss, I think, as a whole fan base. So listen, let me just introduce one by one. Atanu, thanks for coming on.
Hey Nat, thanks for having me. Been a long time since we've done this.
Yeah, no worries. Namrata, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks. Nice to be back. I think it's been about more than a month since we last did our match reaction. And I just realized the new season starts on 1st October, so we still have like 2.5 months to go.
Yeah, definitely. Just want to say hi, Tom, John, Lanzel. I know you're listening, brother. Obviously, Georgia, drop the comments, drop the likes. You know, John, we're going to get into this about lack of action and all this and World Cup. We will. Well, less about World Cup, but more about what's going on and stuff like that and where we're up to. But listen, Sporting Muck's photo face comes onto it. Aoife, we're all happy, I think, about that. And I think 4 weeks ago, we had a podcast with Rich and he said Aoife will sign. Hiya, Vicky. And she signed. So that, for me, shows that, Holy United is the best place to be. We dropped that exclusive. But he also said Ladinator is going to sign. We unfortunately don't know the length, but he said Blundell will sign as well. But I think, Aoife, she knows us. She sort of said a few more seasons. So whether that's 1+1 or 2+1 or just 2, I don't know. For me, she's the third choice currently because, Maya and Millie were the top. But, she's the one that's going to be pushing Millie potentially, maybe Maya, who knows. But, that for me, I'm happy with that defence. I know we've signed Gemma Evans. Let's talk about that better. But, those three are like, for me, the key. They're going to be the ones that we're going to base it around. So just, I suppose, both of you and guys in the comments, what do you think of Aoife signing? Tano, go.
Yeah, I think I really like Aoife, honestly. And I think that Arsenal game last season, towards the end of the season, that was a really good performance by her. And, it really showed that when you can replace one of the centre backs that are starting consistently, it isn't the end of the world. Like, you can always replace them. You can always add that extra centre back into the team. And Aoife offers a lot of quality. I think she's quite underrated by our own fan base, because looking at some of the comments from the fans today, it really showed me that we are still in the era where we are bothered by Russo and Unas not signing new contracts. I think we have to move on now.
Yeah, definitely. Nam, what do you think? I mean, people are saying good signing, unlucky with injuries. I mean, Lanzel's just said here he thinks it's going to be MLT and Mannion, but let's not forget Millie and Mannion had a good partnership as well. And I mean, what do you think just generally about her signing? But the length and all that kind of stuff. Like, what do you think? Are you happy with the news? I suppose
I'm very happy with the news. And, like, forget injuries and everything. When you're going for the Champions League, you need like 4 or 5 defenders at least. And I know we've signed Gemma Evans, but who's also going to be a backup. But Mannion was not just our starting centre back. She was also our vice captain about 2 years ago. So she's a leader in the dressing room. And listen, she's got an ACL injury. It's kind of common to have a follow-up injury after that. But if you have a player who can come back after an ACL injury and give that performance against Arsenal, you definitely want to keep her around, because if you try to replace her with another player, it's going to take time for them to gel and it's going to cost you a lot more money. So for me, I think it was a no-brainer to sign Aoife Mannion, and she's not a starter, so we don't have to rush her back and, probably escalate the injury and whatever. So I'm like really happy we signed Aoife. Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, John thinks we need another centre back. To me, John, I don't think so. I think 3, 4. I think Thor will stay. Sporty saying give Gemma a chance. Listen, I'll give everyone a chance to support everyone, but my personal opinion, I think I've made it known. I'm not going to go into it in this pod, but yeah, I think we can do better. It is what it is. Listen, William has said, will Emma be announced soon? Yes, I fully expect now. Emma Watson, a goal and an assist. Listen, I was watching it. I watched the Northern Ireland one. She got an assist. Probably should have got a goal. I can't remember. Obviously, she was like the player of the match versus Australia. She was mint, and this was while the season was still on, I think. Or just as it finished, just May. But then obviously they've played these 2 games now. And for me, that's it now. She's gonna, well, we don't know when it's gonna be. For me, I thought, why has it not been announced? Why was Gemma announced, but she wasn't? It doesn't make sense. I don't know. It may be that they want to keep it quiet because she can only officially sign when she's 18. That's in January. I think she'll come in to the team, but I don't know. I don't know why they do anything. It's a madness. But I'm guessing both of you have seen the goals, have seen the assists, know who generally we're talking about when we're saying Emma Watson, know what to not expect, but know how highly they're speaking of her. What do you two, I suppose, Namra, I'll come to you. What do you think? Like, do you think, because I watched that goal and it was just like, it's like gold. Yeah, it's like eating gold. I loved it. I want to watch her play, but she won't. Will she?
Play the child. Play the child.
Yeah. I mean, Vix is saying she's really good, and I don't know. Maybe we're overhyping. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I didn't watch the first half live, but I saw the goal. It was amazing. I watched the second half, and I think even off the ball, she's pretty good. Her movement is pretty good, and like you look at her and you wouldn't think she's 17 years old. And I think I know we do this thing where we get a player in and make them spend 6 months with the team to gel up, and then we either send them out on loan or whatever. So I think it's probably going to be like that. We'll probably get her in, train her with the team for 6 months. It's like an internship. So you do the internship and then you send them out on work experience for a loan. But I think the kind of player she is, she might not need a loan. If she kind of settles well, I think, she can kind of start coming in again. But then again, we saw with Grace Clinton, because we saw her in preseason as well, and I was so excited and thought she's ready to be like the backup for Dooney, but we still had to wait a year. We still don't know what's going to happen with her. So I think it's just a matter of time. She will be announced and she will be a part of the team going forward.
Tanu, what do you think? I mean, I really want to see her. I really want her to play. And I want to, even if it's some Conti Cup game, I don't know. I just want to, like we're playing Leicester at home, bring her on for them 10 minutes. But we know that there's issues but hopefully with playing Leicester and then this and that, with having to then play the Champions League game, we might see that rotation because we know that not everyone's going to play. So, who knows? The second team might play versus Leicester, and then that gives her an opportunity. And that's what I think we didn't have with Grace, did we? We didn't see, in those Conti Cup games, we didn't see Grace really get the chances what she should have, in this 6-month bedding in period. What do you think, I suppose?
I think it's going to be an unbelievable signing. I think when we signed Clinton, I was a little critical as to why we were signing her, but then, like Namrata said, that after seeing her play in the preseason, we all were quite hyped. But we all know that starting young players and giving them game time isn't what we've seen from Mark in the last 2 seasons. So I don't know whether it will be a loan after initially signing or whatever, but I'm actually quite happy that we are signing her. Like, I was having a chat with a few people the other day and we were talking how Chelsea signed so many players, but at the same time I think Namrata pointed it out, or I don't remember who exactly it was, but that we are that we are also signing young players. We've got Grace Clinton, we've got Emma Watson now, we've got Ivana Fuso, so we've also got a good youth, some good youth prospects. We've got a good academy as well, but it's all about how to integrate them into the first team, whether it is at United or at any other club, giving them the chance to showcase their talent. And I do hope that with Clinton and Watson especially, that comes into fruition and we see them play actually.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Paul's just come in, big business, do well, keep all our big talents, and obviously, listen, there's 40 of you on now watching, and obviously you come for the big news. The face is the picture, the tag picture. Carolyn, it's a tough one, this, for United, because As far as I'm concerned, from various different people, I've been told she's fully agreed. When I say fully agreed, I mean, what shirt she's going to wear, when she's going to travel in, personal terms, wages, all that shabazz. It's ready. We want Carolyn. Carolyn wants us. There was Leon, there was this, there was that. There was big clubs. Chelsea, we know they're always after everyone. So, we've done that, But obviously now, and I think this is the problem with Man United that we have at this minute, is paying the fee. We know, people, we've seen Jill Road go for 300,000 and Man United need to pay that fee, fees above that. That was someone with a year left handing in a transfer kind of thing. So Man United needs to be paying above that. But then there's still no guarantee that any club is going to want to sell their top player. So it's difficult. I expect, I don't know, it's a hard one because there's reasons for me that I've had on Rich on this show, I've had Catherine on this show, and we talked about what's going on behind the scenes. But I mean, I suppose, Atana, you the one who first brought it to our attention. I mean, what's your view on Carolyn? I mean, someone's even said here 25th of the 7th. So when's that? That's next Tuesday.
Yeah. I think like what I was initially told was that it's only going to happen in the winter. That's what I had written back in June. Because I had been told that because Caroline joined Courage in January this year, they would want her to finish the season first. That's what I was told initially. But later on, I think Rich and Catherine also pointed it out that Caroline to United might happen. They didn't mention it whether it will happen in winter or summer, but at the same time, I think if you are trying to build a squad, it would make sense to sign players in the summer rather than going for them in the winter, because I think when the winter window starts, till by that time UWCL qualifying rounds would have been over, and who knows whether we'll be into the group stages or not. So if we are into the group stages, then there is this big incentive for Caroline to join us in the winter. And if there isn't UWCL, then we might see her joining some other club, maybe if Courage are looking for offers from other clubs. So it's a tricky one. Obviously, for United, if she doesn't come in summer, then we'll have to go after somebody else, so that we have that 6 months gap where we'll have to rely on somebody, or we might as well sign some competition for her when she joins. So initially, I was told that it will happen in winter window, but like you right now, I don't know whether a bid has gone in or not. I am clueless right now.
Listen, Paul, United, we're not saying United are going to wait till January for a striker. Please, this is what I don't understand. People don't listen. We're not saying that, but we're just saying Carolyn as the one that is the main target. Like I said, Catherine's been on, Rich has been on. We want to sign her. And then you were saying about January, there's not even any guarantee. We could make the group stages. I think group stages are finished by January, and you're looking at quarterfinals. So, yeah, obviously she wants to win the Champions League. But, if she just wanted to do that straight away, she would have already signed for Chelsea. Let's be serious. So the fact that everyone's talking about coming to United, to me, like I said, my people have said it's looking very good. United are agreeing terms with people. That's not a problem. And like Vicky said, I would go back in for Jace. Jace is the one that is, in my opinion, is the most attainable out of the two, really, now. What it is, it's what it is. I mean, we were never after just one striker. Carolyn, that's it. This is what people, even with Russo, I was saying, we need Russo and we need this and it's not just Carolyn. It's Carolyn and Jays. It's Carolyn and another. It's Jays and another. It's not just one player. Yeah. It's what people think. Oh, so Carolyn's not happening. So it's all, please, this is what we're talking. But, I mean, Nam, what do you think, I suppose, just generally about the Carolyn before I go into my book?
I think, like, United, every club in the world knows United need a number 9. Every club in the world knows United are going to sign a starting number 9. So you will actually have to pay above the market value because you don't have bargaining power. So you know you want a number 9, she wants to come, you know it's going to cost money, so just pay it, and if you don't have the money, if you're poor, why are you going after world class players? Like, world class players cost money. We saw Alessia Russo, like we saw Arsenal bid 500k for Alessia Russo in January, and she's not even the top 3 strikers in WSL. So if you're going for the current top scorer in NWSL, why do you think it's not going to be anywhere near that figure? So I just don't know why we're not decisive. If we want the player and if we want 400k or whatever, you decide right now, because it's the World Cup and the price is only going to go up after the World Cup. It's not going to come down. So if you're waiting for the price to come down, it's never going to happen. So decide now. If 400k is going to do it, you pay 400. But I don't know, like with United, you just, like, they would have known, like, because we know for a fact that they kept on delaying the giving money to Russo. So in their head, they would have known that there's a very real possibility that we will have to get a new striker. So did they not plan out? Because you're not going to complete deals with world-class players in 2 weeks. It takes months and months. Like Chelsea is probably did not sign Ashley Lawrence within 2 weeks. Villa did not sign Van Domselaar within weeks. They would have like put the groundwork on. So why can United not do that? And if the player has agreed and it's about the money. So it's a striker, it's a world-class striker. It is going to cost a world record fee right now. So I don't know what they're doing.
This is what I want to talk about, I suppose. The fact that Sporty's saying, do you think they'll actually pay out? Listen, there's no about do I think they have to. That's what I'm saying. And if Caroline isn't happening, it has to be Jace or it has to be someone else that maybe, I don't know. But like you said, they would have known that. They offered Alessia £500,000 a year. So the money's there. To say, oh, I don't think, the money's there. They offered it to Honor as well. So everyone knows the money's there. Like you're saying, world record fees, that's where we're at. So for me, like you said, you used the word indecisive, and I think Rich even touched on it in his article when it first came out about Caroline, just at around the same time as you, Eterno. It's the people above your marks. Even Mina's touched on it recently. It's not Mark, it's not Polly, it's someone like Andy O'Boyle. That's a name that I've heard that is the one that's frustrating it. And I mean, I don't know a lot about the men's side, but even you're shaking your head at Turner. He's someone that I don't know what's going on with the men's side, but it looks like John Murtaugh's doing it. John Murtaugh did a good job with the women's side, and then he was moved over. Polly's come in, but she's under people like Andy O'Boyle, and it's then these people that we're waiting on. What do you know, Etana, I suppose, about this Andy Boyle, and I suppose then this Sam came in, there's Harvey now, who's just started, so maybe it's not right to put his name in, but I definitely know for a while, this is what is frustrated the two deals with Russo and Honor. People like Andy Boyle waiting to sign off the deals. And then, like you said, then we're in a situation where we're having to go and get 2 strikers. What do you know about someone like that? Because I feel like fans would just quick, oh, it's Polly's fault. Oh, it's Mark's fault. No, actually, they've said, Caroline, Jays, this, that. There's my names. Go get them. What's going on?
Yeah, mate. I think I obviously, like, regarding Harvey Bassel, obviously he's been appointed right a few weeks back, so we cannot make a judgment on him. But at the same time, I want the club to bring in people who are, aware of what women's football transfers and market is like. And Harvey Bassel is an inside hire from what we know. He was, I think, he was a scout or he was a recruitment head for the youth team, for the youth men's team, from what I know. It's an inside hire, but we've always talked about how we need people who know about women's football. We cannot depend on people who are coming from men's football. I think John Murtaugh did a really good job initially because he had Casey Stoney by his side, but now you need somebody who can actually, uh, if a manager has given this player, then you need to have an alternatives in mind and you need to have a plan and action. And I think Polly alone cannot do everything. Polly and Harvey alone can't do everything, because you look at the men's team setup and then you look at the women's team setup. There are two people in the women's team setup right now. Three if you add Steve Deville, who's the general manager kind of guy, I think finance guy. Regarding Andy O'Boyle, I think whenever the men's team talks are also out there, his name has never been mentioned. It's always John Murto or other people, the scouts, and Sam Barnett is the one who's responsible for giving out men's contracts. That's what Catherine wrote in Daily Mail, and that's what I saw on LinkedIn as well. So to draft somebody who knows how to give out contracts at the men's side and then drafting them into the women's side and like after drafting them, we saw how we weren't able to agree a fee for like a contract for Ona and Alicia. Uh, there are several other things as well that we know of, but at the same time, the track record hasn't been good since he's been brought in. And there was another article in the Athletic long back. I think it was Charlotte Harper who mentioned that seven different people were in contact with Russo's camp, and like seven different people, and still you weren't able to come to like a decision. I know there were other factors as well. Maybe she didn't want to stay at United, but you know there is a plan of action. If a player does not want to stay, you don't waste your time on extending their contracts. You focus on the next player. You focus on the other squad as well. And like Nat mentioned, like Namrata mentioned, the money is there right now. So why isn't it being spent? And we know that if we have to sign world class players, and I think every player that we are linked with are under contracts. So at the end of the day, we do know that we'll have to pay a fee. It's not as if there are free agents in the market and we are trying to sign them. Caroline is at Courage, Gize is at Barcelona, Perle Moroni is at Lyon. So there are players who are under contract. So obviously, if we are in UWCL, the clubs would want to milk money out of us as well. It's now that we are in the big leagues.
Yeah, we're in the big league. It's serious, and I do think we do need, and I don't know what you think, but we need people who know how to do it. And I think when Polly came in, I was skeptical because it's someone from Brighton. I'm not saying she can't do a job, of course she can, but I was skeptical because we heard we were linked to people who were like Juventus and Bayern Munich. We were linked to like these top people, and they're more likely to know. Bring them and Polly, bring someone from Juventus who's had a bit of experience and knows sort of like other leagues in Europe, like I said, the Italian, and Polly, so then she can learn and doing it. And I just think, like you said, we're looking for a head of recruitment and we've just done a sideways step kind of thing. And I'm not saying they can't do it, but I mean, we're seeing with City how they do that all the time, and work with one person doesn't mean it's going to work with her. And I know like Gareth Taylor, but they have then brought someone from a European, Switzerland or wherever he's from, to actually do it. And he's got European experience, and he's, looked after full national teams and all that kind of stuff. And it is frustrating, isn't it, Nam? Because it's like you say, it's like whatever the reason is that, I saw someone asking what the reason. Listen, for me, unless you didn't want to stay, that's why she didn't. But like you're saying, 7 different people, this, that, and the other. It's just frustrating. And then it's frustrating that you're offering this contract and you're not seeing what's in front of you. If they're always changing the price and upping it, why aren't you seeing what's going on? And I think they're just so desperate for this lioness, and this is what we want, and we want it to look like this. And, it's not men's football. It's not going to go down like that. You can't negotiate and say, put in these clauses and this and that. Yeah, maybe you can pay it across so long, but you can't put in all these add-ons and all this, and it'll be worth it once we've paid the add-ons because we won Premier. No one does that. Just pay the bloody money. Yeah. What do you think?
I think on Polly, right? So I read an article about how it was at Brighton, and basically the entire football kind of part was actually sort of built by Hope Powell. So she kind of brought in that knowledge, and then they hired people from outside, and they kind of put the structure in place. So when she was at Brighton, she wasn't, and in that article, basically Hope Powell talks about, okay, this guy looks at recruitment, this guy looks at facilities, this guy looks at that. So they had a really good structure. And I think probably Polly was, used to having this person like Hope Powell kind of driving things, which is probably something what Ten Hag is doing for United men's team. But then you take somebody from a club like Brighton, who's actually known for getting players on the cheap and building them up and then selling them for higher fees, and you bring them to a club like United, which is completely the opposite. Brighton is a very well run club. There's a structure to it. They have scouts and everything. And United right now, from the women's side, there wasn't any structure when she came in. She was basically like the first major hiring only for the women's team, and she comes to United, high pressure job. There's a lot going on in the men's side. There's a takeover going on and all of that. And United are different. You can't get these players on the cheap and then have 2 or 3 years to build them up. You need people to come in and immediately make a difference. I don't know what is going on behind the scenes right now, but I think from United's point of view, like I saw a comment somewhere where the men's team are doing so well in the transfer window, and possibly this could actually end up being one of our best transfer windows in the last 10-15 years. But I think that's because of Ten Hag. That's not because of United. It's not that United has suddenly become super efficient in transfers. It's Ten Hag who's kind of guiding them. And I'm not saying this is Mark's problem that he's not doing that, but we thought Polly is going to be that person who will do that for United. And if she's not doing that, is it that you're not giving her the power, or if you're not giving her the authority, or is it that she wants to get something done, but then you're vetoing her? And if you're doing that, then what's the whole point of getting ahead of women's football in the first place? Like, if you're going to get people from within the club making decisions at the end, then what's her role in the club? And I just don't know. I think United need to look at what happened with Russo and Ona as well. I mean, they're going to say, okay, Russo never wanted to stay. Ona always wanted to go to Barcelona. But you've known that for ages. So where are the backups? Why? We know it's a World Cup year, so everyone's going to say, oh, it's going to be a difficult transfer window. But it's the World Cup. It happens every 4 years. You know it's going to be even more difficult to finish your business after that. So why don't you finish your business beforehand? Anyway, even if Ona and Russo had stayed, you would still need to sign some world-class players. So where is the groundwork for that? Why is it that the 2 confirmed transfers that we know of is Gemma Evans, who we could have signed any day, and Emma Watson, who's a 17-year-old? Like, what are the other options right now? And I'm not sure, Atanu, he probably hinted that, I don't know if we're going to get Moroni or not, but where's the fullback? Where's the midfielder? What's the goalkeeper situation? Rambo has left. Like, there's so many things that they have to address. And a lot of those things could have been done before the World Cup as well. Why are those things not happening? So it's so frustrating right now.
Just to add to what Namrata said, forwards, like we also know forwards, we are already looking at forwards, and then we don't know whether Hansen will stay or not. So ideally, we'll only have Leah Golton, Martha Thomas, Nikita Paris, Lucia Garcia. Even Leon might not stay. So there are only 4 senior forwards in a team who is competing for 4 competitions.
And we're trying to sign Katie Robinson. Like, we've run out of options in WSL. So we're...
you know what? I don't think we are trying to sign Katie Robinson. I think these are just names that I put out. And maybe we are, in that she will be there. It's one that can just get done. Simple. Whereas I feel that we're trying for, the Kevelyn, the Jace, other players, big name players that I do know that we're going for. But it's like what you're saying. Does Polly have the authority to go and put that money down? Yeah, it's all right agreeing. I think even Rich Levity said it's all right. It's easy to agree. Here's $500,000. We know we got them wages. It's easy to agree. You're in Champions League, but then they have the authority, like what you said? I can't even say her name. Moroni, fullback, top quality. Go out and get her. But who's putting the money down to Leon then? She's got 1 year left. So for me, 2,200, 300 thing. She's not even in the World Cup, so it makes it even easier.
I don't even think that there's any top class forward right now who's on less than 1 year of contract. Everyone you look at, you will have to pay upwards of 200K at least. Like no
Minimum.
matter who, minimum, right? So if you're spending 200K, why don't you just actually go on and get a really top class forward? Because we know for a fact that the transfer fee is rising exponentially year after year. So if you get somebody right now, it will actually be a bargain rather than getting somebody next year when we don't even know if we will have Champions League to attract them or not. Like this is the window. This is the time when we can actually go on and sign players. And I don't know what we are waiting for.
It's I know. I mean, I suppose she was mentioned. The fullback. We need a. Rich said we're in for, and I know that we're in for these players. These are players that this is not just today we're going to sign this. That's something that's probably for Rich to come out and say it. That these are the ones that we've been talking to for since January. Because we know that some of these deals get done the January before. So what do you know, I suppose, about Maroney and what's happening with that?
So obviously, Rich might know better than me, honestly. But from what I have been told is that it might not happen because I think she plays as the left back, and now Selma Bacha, sorry, the pronunciation, whatever it is, she also plays as the left back or she plays as the left winger. So obviously they need a backup right now, and Perle Moroni is that backup or the starting role if Bacha starts as the left winger. And I I personally think that Leon wouldn't want to sell to a UWCL rival. We are in the big leagues now, so obviously we are their rivals.
Not a
So
rival.
yeah, but from what I've been told, it might not happen because Leon are reluctant to sell. That's what I've been told. Honestly, at the same time, Rich might know better than me. I'm not going at him.
No, I mean obviously Rich is posting this from somewhere. So whether it's just United side or whether it's this and that, it is what it is. And Sarah, listen, money does talk. And Sporty, listen, what I've heard about this one is that she's going Frankfurt, and we was never really interested. There's other people, there's higher people that were interested. I'm not saying she's not good, but in terms of youth, this is a girl that's playing at PSV. Would she come straight into the Man United team? I don't know. We're already talking about Emma Watson. She wouldn't know that Brooks is older, but is that something, this and that? So it is what it is. Who knows who they are looking at? But listen, David said something here and it's caught my attention. Even Stuart said something. Chris, Villa fan, listen, I'll say what I'm saying. But this is a name that I've heard us linked to before. We're talking about having, planning in advance. This is a name that she wanted to come to us before. We can't deny it. I know Chris might say, no, she never, but period. I know full well multiple people have told me before she was going to go to Villa, she was desperate to come to Man United. For whatever reason, whether it's because we thought we got Russo, this and that, we're not going to pay X, Y, Z. Now time to pay. And, like you said, that interest is there. Historic interest. She had the interest. Who knows? Obviously, Villa, we know they won't sell. But a name that you talked about before, Hansen. Make it happen. Money plus Hansen for Daly. Who knows? But then this is where I'm saying she's in the World Cup right now. So whatever's going on, they're playing on Saturday or whatever. I don't know. But listen, I have no problem Daly now then, Carolyn and generally, yeah. They're playing in the World Cup now. So she's not going to come out and say, I want to leave Villa now, is she? Because she's doing that. We've heard, we haven't. Listen, what do you think I'm doing, boss man? What do you think I'm doing right now, big man? Anyway, so yeah. Listen. Listen, we know that she can score goals. We know that she can score goals. She's done it. but we know that there's a little, is it the right person? We want people to fit into this group seamlessly. I'm not saying she wouldn't. She's a nice girl. I don't know her. But obviously there was a little, everyone knows dilly-dally now it's thing. Everyone's professional, but I don't want, it's that will concern me. And I think everyone knows what I mean. She was with Millie, now they're not. What if then this? I just want my players now currently to be happy. So if she came in now, would it upset the apple cart? I don't know. They do like her. She was training with us during COVID, so it's not like she doesn't know half of them. We've got the Lionesses there. They're all friends. But I'm fed up as well. I will say this. I'm fed up of Lionesses as well. There's better players out there than Lionesses. If you wanted to sign Rachel Daly, you have to be a world record and then give them Hansen and then give them all this. I'm not, for what? She scored 20 goals. Yeah, it's great, but I don't know. There's more that I think, if we're smart about it, there's better players out there. Like, guys, listen, you're in the comment. Look at the Spanish league. Can't say Daly coming. Rachel Daly will cost way more when she storms the World Cup. There was an issue that seemed cool. Listen, people are saying they want her. Some are saying not. People are saying she won't come. People saying we ain't got the money. We've said we got the money. She's 31. Yeah. I want a Carolyn 25 ready to go. Jay-Z, I know she scored less, but guys, what do you think? My guess here, because I've said too much.
I think Namrata is waiting to go to it also.
One, Namrata.
Yeah. So for me, I think if we can't get Jays, if we can't get, or either one of them, like if we can get one of them, I think we should definitely be targeting Alba Redondo. She plays for Levante. I think that's how it's pronounced. She scored 27 goals in the Spanish league last season. She's played in the Champions League. She's going to be 27 now, so there's no fear that she will leave us for Real Madrid or Barcelona. So she will be here to stay. She's done really well at Levante last season because she had like a really good winger in Mayra Ramirez, kind of assisting her, and her work rate is amazing. Like she's super technical player, and she has 1 year left in her contract. And I'm actually kind of surprised that somebody like Barcelona is not really going after her because, they want to let go of Oshuala, and Oshuala scored 20 goals last season. So like they'll probably be getting an upgrade on her. But again, probably going to cost us a lot of money, minimum 200K. But if you're not getting Jays, if you're not getting Caroline right now, why not go after somebody who is in a Champions League team? And we've actually had good players from Levante, like Ona came from Levante. Even Navarro was in Levante. So we know it's a good team. And the way they play, I think it would suit us. So for me, that's the one to get if you're not able to get your first targets. She's in the Spain squad. So not really sure how easily this can get done, but I'm kind of surprised like nobody's in for her. So that's something that I'm looking at. There's also another player who scored really well in La Liga, and that was Kundananji from Madrid CFF, and she's playing for Zambia, and she's gonna have an amazing World Cup. Like I can tell you right now, her value is gonna skyrocket after the World Cup. And there was a really good chance you could have signed her for a much lesser fee than Jay's. But again, we just sit there waiting. I don't know.
That's my girl. Rachel is my fucking girl. Let's be serious. I know Chris is saying here, listen, Daly, listen, no one cares. Daly, Russo said the same thing. Please, money talks. Please, we've come to that conclusion. Listen, Rachel Kundaji from Zambia. Watch her smash up the World Cup, and then what? And like you said, for me, Redonda, I'm for it, but there's just something about it that makes me think she wants to stay in Spain because she's just signed a new deal that's 1 year and saying she's staying. And I'm thinking, why have you just signed that when you could have gone for free? And is there something like as a Barca next year when the people run out of contracts? We've seen that Barca are probably not going to sign anyone And will she go next year for free? I don't know. Like you said, she's 27, so I don't know if she has another great season. The reason why I was a bit skeptical on it is that I saw her back in 2018 or 19 when it was when we were taking on her, and I just wasn't moved by her. But she's had a brilliant season this year, so yeah, I am. I'm open for it. People are saying Barbara Banda. Yeah, man, these are players that are there. But I know that Rachel, I don't let Atani go. Rachel Kundaji has already spoken about playing in England, and she's 1 year left in her contract. So for me, like you say, the minimum is 200,000, but 300, 350, boom, done, deal. For me, you look at Madrid CFF. No disrespect to them, there's not got a men's team, not got big money. They probably be looking to sell her. If she does have a storming World Cup, take the money to them now before the World Cup.
And if a player can score for Zambia, who is not a very big team, they will score loads of goals for United. And like either one of them, I get it. Like Alba Redondo, she's Spanish, maybe she doesn't want to come. But like Kundananji, right? Like I think it's the right time to get these deals run right now. But now we're going to wait after the World Cup, and then she's going to be like $1 million player or something like that.
Let's go, Atana. Go. Go.
Yeah. So, like we were talking about Caroline and whether it will happen or not, and we talked about this setup and basically the Polly Bancroft and the staff that she does not have. So, if she had that staff, there could have been a plan B or a plan C or a plan D. But right now, there is just Caroline, or we'll see after the World Cup. What about between the World Cup and now? So, like Namrata said, Kundananji, Redondo, both amazing players. I think Redondo was the top scorer with 27 goals and Kundananji was 25. But I think what RC is saying, it's like Lucia comes in and scores goals. Exactly. I think we need to tap into the Spanish market. I actually did not know about Alva Redondo. Namrata started a huge train of Alvaro Redondo's stands, and she was like, okay, watch this, and I think she's got that presence inside the box. She's quite intelligent with her runs into the box, and I think I've seen more of Kundananji than Redondo, and Kundananji is just on another level, and at 23 years of age, I think if we do end up signing her, it will be a long, like it's basically an ambitious deal. And with Redondo, I agree with Nat. I think she would want to stay in Spain, and maybe Barcelona poach her if they lose Oshuala or Cheese. So you never know. Namrata is a little sad that I said Redondo wants to stay in Spain, but at the end of the day, even if we sign Caroline, even if we sign Gize, we need to add another striker, and we do not need a stopgap striker or a backup striker. We need a competition to those players, and these two players that Nat and Namrata mentioned are on another level. And I've seen Kundananji play a lot of times. I even saw some clips from that Germany game that Zambia won, and I think we are in for a treat. And like Namrata mentioned, Kundananji will have a fantastic World Cup, and I do hope she ends up joining either United or she stays in Spain. Cannot see her joining any other rival, because at the rate of signings that other rivals are making, I'm a little disheartened that United aren't in the speed up things.
Yeah, I mean, if I think I know who this is, but from the Twitter. So yeah, it's good to join us. Madrid CFF have just sold Gabby Nunes Brazil to Levante, and so I think he's suggesting that she might not go. But this is what we're saying. Man United, where's our scouts? Why aren't we looking at African players? Why aren't we looking like what Chelsea have just done with Mexican players? There's a Mexican player that I'm seeing bandied about now. I don't even know her name, but Anna, I think people are saying that she's in Tigres as well.
Wale.
Yeah, like why? What are we doing? Like we're sitting here saying we've got the money, we're ready, but like you said, it seems to just be Caroline or bust. But why? Why are we not looking at other people? Then, like what Ryan's saying, English players are the best, but it's the Spanish players that come in and are top goal scorers. or close to it on half the amount of minutes. So for me, I think someone said it before, don't underestimate the Spanish league. Don't underestimate any league, to be honest, German league, all this kind of thing, Mexican league. Like you say, the African teams, very underestimated in the World Cup. And I feel like they've got some of the best goal scorers I've ever seen. Barbara Banda is one of the best goal scorers I've seen. There was talk that she was going to sign for Madrid after the Olympics, but there was issues with FIFA and registering. But I think if she's going to play the World Cup, she'll be looking into me. I mean, we've had this name talked about, Tabitha Chiwenga. I don't know where she plays for, but she plays in Inter Milan. But I don't know what country she's in. She's not at the World Cup, so it might be hard. But, this is a player. These are the players that we should be looking at. Top goal scorer in Italy, top goal scorers in Spain. England isn't everything. That's what we need to get out of this mindset. And I think they're in the mindset because they're thinking about commercial. When you put that above actual players, then you're in trouble. And I feel like the men's team did that for years and years and years. And like you said, it's only Ten Hag now that has changed it, Even with Jose, they were doing that. So let's not act like it's all everyone's fault. But I think the takeover is affecting it, this and that. But we know we have the money there. We just need to do it. Tabitha's from Malawi. Let's look at getting these players. I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is what I'm seeing from John. United can only do one signing at a time. Watson was done ages ago, boss. But it does seem like that, and that's the problem the men had for ages. And the fact that there's not that many staff in the women, do you feel like that's what's happening? Like you're saying, they're doing one at a time, or they're just dealing with one group of people, and then they're screwed. I mean, Antonio, go on. I see you nodding, and I'm going to touch on something after you said that.
Yeah, I think we've already mentioned it, that it's the lack of having a proper setup. And at the same time, we are always a little slower than other teams in doing deals. Like, if you look at Chelsea, I don't know whether they are replacements for Harder or not, but they lost on Panila Harder and they brought in Macario from Lyon, and now they are going to sign Mia Fischel from Tigres, who is a teammate of Vale, who we were mentioning. So both top quality players, both very good players, and here we are. We've only signed Gemma Evans, and we are about to sign Emma Watson, and that's it. Where is our striker? And honestly speaking, Gemma Evans and Emma Watson are not the players who will be starting for us immediately. I'm not saying bad signings. I'm just saying that we don't even have starters in our team right now. We do not have a striker in our team who can start regularly and score goals for us. We need a backup to Lad, or we need a competitor to Lad. We need a midfielder right now. Where is the replacement for Ona? People say that Jade Riviere is the replacement for Ona, but when you are managing UWCL, Barclays WSL, you're managing cup games, you need another fullback. And I honestly think Evie Rapjohn will go out on loan because she needs game time, and I don't think she'll get that at United. And at the same time, we need to remain competitive, so we need a fullback as well. I can understand if it is something that does not need to be the top priority, but striker position, where is our striker? Are we so broke that we cannot even sign a striker right now? Why didn't we go in for Mia Fischel? If we are ready to pay 190k for Katie Robinson, that's what has been reported. I don't know whether it will happen or not. Why don't we add some more case to it and actually sign Mia Fischel then?
Mia Fischel is a backups player for Chelsea. Her transfer fee was 280k. So they're spending close to 300k on backups, and we're trying to negotiate for a top striker who will take us into Champions League. And I think that's the difference between Chelsea and us. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, and listen, guys, I just want to touch on a few things that I was going to say before, and sort of what you've been saying, and what everyone's been saying, sort of one at a time, and all this kind of stuff, and the number of people that we potentially have doing this, and why it's taking so long. And I feel like they don't understand the differences between the men's and the women's game, and or they're just bringing that laziness from the men's game that we've seen into the women's game, and being skeptical of people that really maybe they shouldn't be. We know in the men's game agents have a bad rep and they're spoke negatively of, but an agent in the women's game, I think I've had on this show or other shows, Reece Landon a lot. He's not obviously going to probably be providing us with players, but he does everything for players. The agent is everything for them, because I think when you get to a point where you're 21 coming through or this and that, you get that agent, and usually have that same agent throughout your whole career. It's only very rarely that you see people change, and it's when they're trying to make a move happen. So like if they're trying to come to England, they'll get an English agent, that kind of thing. And but other than that, you usually have the same person by your side. Whereas men, say Mason Mount or Onana, he's got his own physio, his own this, his own gym instructor, his own personal trainer, his own doctor, his own mental health well-being person. Whereas I feel like this is even my talking with Reece, the agent does everything for the women, because sometimes they didn't have all that in this club, or if you're moving club, or if you're out of club for a bit, you still need that kind of help. So the agent provides that, whether it's just signposting or actually having in-house people in the agency, and big agents like, Alan Ngozi, A&G, and Michael and all these people. These are the people that have potentially got the players that we want. So we need to be going to them and saying and being, welcoming and open and, including them, not including them in things, but we're looking for ex-player, that's what they did with Sina Brun. They went to Alan, they said, I want Ford. He said, you can't have Ford, but here's Brun, and things like that need to be happening. We've seen it can happen. They can sign players, bang, bang, bang. That winter window, bang, bang, bang. Oh no, it was the end of summer. I can't remember. No, it was winter. Bang, bang, bang. 3 players came in like that deadline date, and I feel like that's what's going to happen, because obviously it's going to be hard now unless you have got that already pre-agreed deal. So anything that we're working on now, it'll be already agreed, or they're not in the World Cup. But we're going to need to have people on our side, let's say, and treat people well to ensure, because these are the guys that are going to give us the players, really. And I feel like you shouldn't look at them like evil and this and that. And, I've seen Lanzell posting, why are we so secretive? Why are we so like that? They view media as people to keep out, fans, people to keep out. But then we're seeing, names like Alba Redondo. These are people that we know. These are people that they should be looking at. And when you haven't got the numbers that you should have, maybe sometimes you need the outside help of the media, the fans of this, because where are we at with players? I just don't know. I don't know. It's crazy. Yeah, they're Man United, but they're only new in this women's football club. So, David's saying small club. Yeah, they're small, they're starting, but we need to be a bit more open and inclusive, and it be about everyone, and not just think about this and that. We're Man United. No, we're not. We need to get and behave like that, because it's going to be a long summer. I'm still confident. I know there's people in there saying, "Oh, it's the end of the world." No, it's not the end of the world, because we've said in here we've got money, we've got the wages can be paid, people coming in, this and that. But it's not the end of the world, but it's just frustrating. It's frustrating how they're going on. I'm confident we're going to get the players in that are worth it. Unfortunately, I think that players are going to leave, that maybe 2 or 3 we don't want. But I think there's going to be players that leave that probably need to leave as well. I'm sure we know, and other people can mention them. But I do think if we're going to then let other players leave, then players will be coming in. It's not just going to be like that. So if you see a player leave, they won't just be leaving without anything, And I think people, I get where you was coming from, Atana, about what's her face, Jade, but I feel like Jade we need like another fullback as well, but Jade will come in and be like on a, I think Lisa we've not seen, and people are just saying, oh, we need this, we need that. Yeah, but Lisa's there as well, and I do think we need a 6. We've seen us linked. It's just come up on my phone. Pinto, that's one that's being talked about. That actually is a free agent. So is that Man United? Who knows? But yeah, we need to welcome people in and work with people to get things through and make stuff happen. But yeah, guys, what do you think? What do you think, I suppose, about my little passionate rant?
I think I'll just say one thing. Okay, I'll just go first. So there was this thing about it's a small club mentality. I think it's actually the opposite. I think United are like so used to being that big club that everyone gets to them, and they're thinking it's going to be the same in the women's game when it's not. Like we're not the big league when it comes to the women's team yet, and we have to build that kind of goodwill. We have to build that legacy and everything, and they're kind of like taking everything from the men's game and then they're trying the same playbook for women's team. It's not going to work. You will have to recognize that you don't know that much about women's football, so you learn. And if you want to learn what better kind of people, then you have to make contacts with agents. You have to get to know the women's football ecosystem. You talk to people as much. You build up those contacts. And the thing that you said about agents being everything for the player, it's not just 23 years old. I talked about Alba Redondo. So one of the reasons she said that she's actually gotten better recently, she mentioned in an article that she also has like a psychologist, she has personal trainer, she has 2 or 3 people apart from Levante, and she kind of has that whole thing. And that is the direction that women's football is going. So when you have the top person, that finance planning expert who spoke at that conference saying that, agents are a nuisance in the women's game. If you're going to go with that mindset, you're always going to fall behind. Mm-hmm. You have to welcome them. You have to welcome fans. You have to welcome everyone in women's football, because accept it right now that you don't know that much about women's football. So you got to learn. And you learn that from agents. You learn that from different people in the ecosystem. And I think United are arrogant, and maybe they weren't being arrogant in the men's team, but we're nowhere close for the women's team. And I think we have to be humble and kind of try our best to be able to kind of deserve that arrogance, I think.
100%. And I actually did forget that she did say that, that girl. And yeah, it's just no need, because the things that she said in that press conference, even though, a lot of it might have been, I just think, look at the situation you're in and look how it's going to be perceived. And, like you said, there's no need to go and upset a load of people that have been there a lot longer than you. And I mean, I know people say, well, that's what you did. No, as fans, we came in and supported. And, I think we bring us something. Manchester United, not just the fans, but the football club. Of course, Manchester United Football Club brings something to the women's game. And I feel like a lot of people didn't realise that, whether they're slowly realising, United are now on all these boards and, trying to bring their expertise. And I get that. But then, like you say, you need to learn, and you need to now, in my opinion, Man United we're at a position where we need to bring people in from the other parts of the women's game. We might be experts in the men's field, but we're not in the women's. And, just Polly on her own, I feel for the girl, because she needs other people around her that are on the same wavelength as her. And I don't know if that's going to happen. Sporty's saying, any news on Martin Ho? And then Katie before said, Natalie, listen, imagine the chaos. Atana, is there anything that you want to, suppose, add on to the little comments or what Nam was saying?
Yeah, obviously, what you also mentioned, that the positive rant actually changed my opinion now. We always do business towards the end. So obviously we'll obviously sign players, we'll obviously sign world class players, but United want the fans to suffer a little before, so that the victory is even sweeter. So I think that's what's going on right now. The only thing is that I hope United know that if they are going to judge players on the basis of their World Cup performance, they aren't the only ones who will be doing that. There will be several other clubs who will be trying to poach good players who've performed well in the
You
World
should
Cup.
never do that. You should never
Yeah,
judge players.
exactly. And I honestly think that one or two more players should have been signed before the World Cup began, even if they were competing in the World Cup. Uh, I think World Cup ends on August 20, and the season starts on 1st October. So we have 40 days, but it will also like the during those 40 days there will be pre-season as well. So ideally, I would want all the signings to play in the preseason, but that's just me. I don't know whether it will be the reality or not. But yeah, like Nat mentioned, we'll do well. Positively, I'm trying to end this video, so we'll do well and we'll sign some world class players hopefully. And next summer, United will try to make us suffer all over again.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, summer window closes on 14th of September. So we'll probably rush a lot through, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
We don't play the Champions League until October. I think even playing Arsenal early on is going to be good because it builds us up to that. Hopefully, in the pre-season, we have like some tough competition. We've seen that Roma are coming over to England, so for me, I would have them come up north as well. Lanzell's saying something, and I suppose it's not a negative, but I want to touch on it because he's mentioned he comes on. I think we know, buddy, who's going out. I think we know, Leon, Thomas. Talking about Hansen, I mean, like I said before, I could see a Hansen daily swap. This kind of thing. But like you said, if someone goes out, I mean, even Vilda, if someone goes out, I can see people coming in. I don't think they're just going to let, because I think they have these people on long-term contracts or some kind of contract. I know, like, people are like, oh, you can't do it. Listen, I think it's getting to a point with football as well. You can do a lot of things. I know I'm just contradicting what I'm saying, but listen, we know Hansen loves United. We know Vilda loves United. It's on, I suppose, the manager to switch it up and make sure everyone's happy. Listen, I'd rather keep Hansen, yeah. Of course we would. And I can see it happening. Or if it doesn't happen, she'll get someone. Someone will come in. Listen, Carrie, I don't know. It is what it is. I think she's on a contract still as well. I think everyone's on a contract now. It's just so whatever happens, people could leave for money and that's more money in. So we know that they're willing to spend the money that they get in. We saw it with Lisa. So the more money that comes in, the better for us. But then it's like what we said, people know we got money, so they're going to ask for more. It's always the case. Nam, do you want to, any last words? I suppose it's been a good hour. We've been talking. We've said everything we need to say. People are listing what they want to see. But how do you feel, I suppose, after this? This is what I wanted it. I wanted it to just get everything out there in the open. Say what we think about everything. There's been people saying we're doomed and gloomed. There's been people who've been a bit more optimistic. I think we're in the middle. We need to get something through the line. I think something will get done in the World Cup as well. But what's your last feelings, last thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not like panicking. I think it could have been better, but I think we can still get like a really good transfer window. And just the fact that we are at least linked with people like Carolyn and Jays, which is the first time something like this has happened. Like when we were in lockdown, we were having hashtags of Vanilla Harder 2021, Ada Hegerberg 2021. So we're not there yet, but at least we're getting there. And I think like no matter what happens, we have Champions League to look forward to, at least 2 games. So we're going to have a good October. So like really missing the team right now. So let's just hope we have a cracking World Cup and we identify a few more players to add to our list.
Definitely. Tanu?
Yeah, on the same thought as Namrata, we'll sign some world class players. It could have been better. Like obviously, there's a lot of room for improvement. But yeah, looking forward to that first home game against Arsenal. Honestly, it can't.
Oh, it would sound a lot better if we could like still sweep Carolyn as well. Like, when
Yeah.
that happens.
Yeah, it would. Sweet Caroline.
Imagine if she scores a hat trick. Amazing.
Listen, everyone's laughing. Everyone's having a good time. Listen,
I think even better would have been like if it signed Jay's and we would have said like Jay-Z, she'd be the one to save me in front of Russo. So I think that's Well, let's see.
we'll have something. Listen, never
Namrata is
underestimate.
already set with the chants and everything.
We'll always have something ready. We'll I know. Listen, guys, I just want to say thank you. Drop a like, subscribe. It'll be good. Let's just say that. Let's see. Like I said, we might have some videos talking about when Emma does drop. There'll be some videos. Hopefully, I'll have a little expert from Scotland on. But listen, the more we hear, the more videos we'll do. We might not do as much World Cup stuff, but that's not my bag. This is the transfer show. So yeah, listen, drop the love. If you know anything, hit us up. We love you guys. See ya.